That's cool. Lovely.
Did you like that?
Yeah. Yeah.
It took me forever to do it. Hello, everyone.
I haven't got a clue coming to stuff like that. Well done. Yeah,
we need to change my profile picture though.
Well, do you know what? I was just like, I trolled your Facebooks, all of you. And I just had a look to see what I could grab hold of. I mean, the only person I really had photos of was Dan and Jay because I'm out with them. But did
my
you
profile
like
picture would be ideal.
No, it's perfect. I don't think that was too long. I think that's a good intro.
What do you think, Brian?
Yeah, it was spot on, apart from me having a bun on my head.
A bun? I haven't got a bun on your head.
No, it's a hanging basket, but
it was in the garden.
Yeah.
Well, how have you all been? Hello to everybody in the chat, and thank you for joining us. I wanted to check with Bri, Tim, and Wayne. How have you all been, and what have you been up to since I last saw you all?
Who's first? Oh, well, I've not done a lot at all. I've not been out investigating. I've just been chilling in my room and avoiding the heat, to be honest with you. You know, I'm not really into this heat. But although we mustn't complain, must we? Because it'll be winter before we know it. It'll be winter before we know it, and it'll be snow and dark and horrible.
So I will be moaning that it's too cold.
Yeah, and the cost of the heating bills.
That's what we do, isn't it? That's what we do. But no, I'm going out tomorrow to some. I'm going investigating tomorrow to some old RAF bunkers. We've been before. It's so active. It's brilliant. So that's where we're going tomorrow.
Right.
Yeah.
What about you, Wayne? What have you been up to since we last spoke?
Quite a lot actually. We've had like problems with the family, so we've had my youngest boy has been diagnosed with ADHD. My oldest boy has now been properly diagnosed now with, I can't remember the technical name, but his right hip has fused at a 30-degree angle, and as a result, all the chemotherapy medicine that they've given him can't shift it. So he's got to have a full hip operation around Christmas time.
Oh my God.
And he's only 15 years old. So it's a very tough one to get our heads around, that how a 15-year-old is able to have this situation arise. But when I look into the medical side of things, it turns out that a lot of autistic children, especially with the higher up ASD levels, also have medical problems as well. So this is just Ethan's medical problem. So that's been a lot of involvement with going down to Great Ormond Street Hospital, the Royal National Orthopaedic Hospital, which is a constant backwards and forwards. So something had to take a back step, and that was my writing. So at the moment, my 5th book has gone on hold until I've got everything sorted out. The only problem is I've got 2 new projects in the pipeline now. One is Wayne's Weird and Wonderful World, which will be a pre-recorded series that will go onto my Facebook channel. And a project that I'll be working with Fred Batt, the demonologist. And so things are all sort of building steam for our first outing in September. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, that'll be really good. What about you, Bri? You've been quiet over there, Bri. Have you been up to shenanigans?
I'm always up to something, you know that. But I'm not telling you, it's a secret. No, I've been sunbathing, definitely getting a tan. But I have been out. I've been out to filming my churches and one thing and another. All on my
brilliant.
Other than that, not really much else.
Apart from annoying Nettie.
What?
Apart from annoying Nettie.
Oh, always. That's a given.
You'd be nice to that woman, you know.
I'm always nice. It's a torment.
It sounds like you've all been busy. Like I've been busy as well. I had that cryptid conference. I now have a publisher that's interested in publishing my book.
Wow.
So it's not being done through Amazon or anything like that. I have a publisher that I've got to get the bloody thing finished. So I've told them, give me into the end of the year. And then I'll get it over for proof reading. And I've asked somebody to do the forward for me as well. So that's going to be interesting. So we'll see what happens. It's nothing too serious. It's ghost stories for adults, basically.
Wow.
So nothing too heavy. So so that's interesting. I've never worked like that to deadlines, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. And I've also been speaking to a producer, and maybe next year we have to have discussions. There's a Netflix project coming on for a horror 6-part series thing.
Blimey, so, that sounds awesome.
But it's all very much up in the air, and there has to be meetings. And again, if it means me sitting down working with script writers, it means working around work and things like that. So I don't know how that's going to work, but we'll wait and see. Never say never is what I say. So I want to just say hello to everyone in the chat and Mr. Murden. Oh yeah, write something rude in yours, Carl. nice for Lou, but rude one in yours. Alika's can. Be worth a lot of money if I did that. Hello, Gareth, bro. Howdy doody. Well, right, tonight we are going to have a lively discussion. Now, this is just, before we get into it, this is just our own thoughts. We don't condemn anybody else for their thoughts and anything else that comes into the chat, because everybody is different. We are going to talk about orbs. Now, it might get a bit lively at times, but we're all friends here, so we can do that. You know, Brian knows I love him. I know Brian loves me, not in the way that he loves Nettie, and I love Tim and Wayne as well.
Oh,
and we can have these lively debates, and you know, but we all respect one another, and it's the same for you guys in the chat as well. So we are going to open up this debate. I'm just going to give you a little taster. I'll save my little bit until the end. I'm going to pass it over to the guys. But before we talk about orbs, I just wanted to give a little sort of opener, if you like, about orbs, because people believe orbs are spirit. Some people believe orbs are a spirit that come to visit. Some orbs being very pretty, showing different colours with faces in the orbs itself. Quite a few orbs seem to have its own energy and emitting its own light. It is said that some orbs even travel in an unusual manner, even turning round corners and following people. It is believed that orbs show colour because this is to do with the angelic hierarchy. And I've heard that before. Some people even claim for orbs to be magic and even the fae. Now, let's discuss all of this. I'm going to throw it over to you guys. Who wants to kick this off? Anybody? Go on, Bri.
Again, like you've said, personal and experience. I mean, I've been doing this for over 40 years. My experience is very lively when it comes to spirit. So I can see spirit full-bodied. I can also smell spirit. I can sense spirit. But when it comes to orbs, there's a definite difference between an orb and dust and light anomalies from my experience. One really good piece of evidence was I was doing a private investigation, of a certain place. They were wanting information that they got some information from the place, from the history, but they needed other connections, personal connections. So we did a little bit of investigating, and as we were going around this place, we came across a lady in distress, in spirit, and she was trying to tell everybody in the room. Obviously, certain people were picking up more than others. And in this particular case, she was pregnant. We got a photo of an orb with a scan picture inside it. That was, to me, projected. That was a type of orb that was projected to us. It wasn't a spirit trying to manifest as such. So there is different kinds from my experience.
Wow.
It's interesting.
Yeah. Well, I've only ever seen one proper orb, like Bryce said. In a night vision camera, it's all dust, isn't it? It's dust floating about, or insects, or the such. But I was the only orb I've ever seen was when I was with my daughter. When I lived in North Devon, and we were walking along a forestry path, and I saw this self-illuminating globe. Now I know you see droplets of rain on leaves that can focus light through, but this thing was floating through. Now my daughter Emma, she actually saw a fairy. She saw it as a fairy, and I saw it as an orb floating through, and that's the only one that I can honestly say that I believe was a proper orb. But like I say, she was about 11 at the time, and she said, "Dad, a fairy." And she pointed to it as it went through the trees. So that was the only time that I've ever seen anything that I would call an orb.
That's a good point, Space, but let's see what Wayne thinks about orbs.
Yeah, I mean, like Bri, I've been investigating sort of on and off for about 36 to 40 years. And from my experiences, I will say that there is something in it when it comes to orbs. But having the scientific approach, I see what the argument is about it being dust or bugs because of the advent of digital cameras. I mean, we've called them, I can't call them now, sky bugs or something. They were first photographed in 91 in Iraq. And a bug went past the camera lens, and a photo was taken, and you could see the individual wing beats above the line and the legs beneath it. And so that then sort of, once the cameras got more technical and more advanced, they sort of came through a lot more. But then on the spiritual side of things, I've had too many experiences that have involved an orb, or an orb has been present at the time. So I always look at it and say, yes, there are dust and bugs that will show up on camera, but you can tell the difference between those and a spiritual orb. And a prime example was when I was investigating at Harrods Redoubt Fort in North Essex. Me and another investigator were sitting in one of the prison cells. I say sitting, I was standing in the doorway. Now, each of these prison cells was set up the way they were during World War II. And they were used to house downed German pilots before they were taken off to the POW camps. And so it was all set up with the old itchy bed and mattress, bed sheets. There was an old table with an old Bible and a coffee cup, and a mannequin dummy dressed up in a German pilot's outfit. And me and the investigator went in. She sat down in the corner to the left of me, and the mannequin dummy was about 12 feet away from me at the corner of the bed. And we'd set up a trigger object on the bed, and it was one of those like boxing ring type things where you put the ball in the middle and set the alarm. And we'd set it so that there was these bright red lights flashing from each corner. And Claire, the investigator that was with me, said, you know what? She said, every time those red lights flash, that mannequin's moving. So I'm staring at it. I'm looking at it like crazy, trying to see whether it's moving. Couldn't see no movement whatsoever. But I felt that something was there in the room with us. And I turned around to her and I said, there's something in here. I can feel the atmosphere. It's getting thicker. Something is going to happen. And as I said that, the mannequin dummy came flying at me. So it's literally left 12 foot away from me. It's about a foot off the floor. Came straight at me. I've grabbed a hold of it. Poor Claire sitting in the corner. She went, no, I'm not here for that. And boom, she was gone.
Yeah.
Left me standing there holding this mannequin dummy. The head's fallen off and it's on the floor. I'm playing football with it, trying to keep it from rolling away. And I'm shouting out, can someone come and help me, please? And then I just at random started laughing.
Yeah.
Luckily for me, there was a team of 3 people in the next cell towards us, and they were videoing themselves doing dowsing rods. And you hear them on the video say, if there are any spirits here in this cell block with us, can you please cross the rods over? And as soon as she said that, the rods crossed over, and then you heard poor Claire go, no, I'm not here for that, I'm off. And they turned the camera to look down the corridor that leads out into the courtyard. And as they've turned, you see Claire running out into the courtyard, and this little white ball of light comes out of the cell where we were and follows her out into the courtyard.
Yeah.
Now, that to me can't be dust and it can't be a bug. Why would a bug be following someone out into the courtyard exactly at the point where something like that has happened?
Yeah.
And, you know, it's the amount of times where I've seen orbs or balls of light that have moved in the total opposite direction to the way air currents move.
Yeah,
it wouldn't do that. I mean, okay, yes, if the bug was big enough, it could move against an air current, but you would tell it was a bug then.
Yeah, I've seen it move very weird in an air current before.
Yeah,
but that's yeah.
So if the
where was this? This happened with the dummy and everything.
This was at Harwich Redoubt Fort in Harwich, Essex.
I know the exact dummy, the one where the head falls off.
Cell 2.
Yeah.
The thing is, as well, is the owners of Harwich Redoubt Fort had caught it on CCTV because the week after I was there again, and they tied the dummy to the wall. They had literally put a hook and eye thing to the wall, and they tied wire around his waist and tied it to the wall so he couldn't do it again.
Bloody hell.
And now you're not even allowed in the cells anymore. What cell 1 and 2 you can't go into. They've locked them off.
I think
because
cell 2 was the one.
People are damaging the walls too much.
I got an EVP of a dog growling and then a dog barking in cell 2.
Yeah.
Has anybody been seeing this latest footage that's flying about where that glass falls off at table? It's quite an old piece now, but it's resurfaced, and they're making a thing of it. It's in a certain pub. I can't remember the name of the pub.
Oh, in Nottingham.
I think so. Yeah, and
yes.
Glass falls off at table. In that piece, nobody's noticed, or maybe it's just me. I don't know, but I did see an orb before the glass fell.
Okay. Interesting.
Nobody's mentioned it, but that's what I saw. So,
I'm just breaking another fan in my office.
It can be difficult, but I think what's made it worse is when people send you pictures, and I said this. It was only this morning. I had 2 people had sent me pictures of an investigation at the Ancient Ram Inn, and they had got 2 pictures. One was in plain black and white, and one had supposedly been enhanced in purple, and it was zoomed in. And I took one look at them, and I said, look, I'm not going to dispute the fact that the Ancient Ram Inn is haunted. How haunted is another case altogether, because sometimes there's activity that's a lot bigger and a lot more affluent than other times you go there.
Yeah.
But the problem with these two pictures is the black and white one is from the camera to the object they're photographing. The second one has been tinted with purple and zoomed in. It's the same picture, but altered color-wise. And they were claiming that it was two separate pictures. But I'd noticed that this orb had like a little growth, a smaller growth to the side of it. So it was one big orb with a little orb next to it. But there was the curtains behind it, and you could see where the fold of the curtains had gone behind these two orbs. And it repeated itself in the second photo. And I said to him, have you got any video footage with that in? Because these two photos are identical. You've just zoomed in on the purple one. And they ceased communication.
Well, guys, you're going to hate me now, because I do not believe in orbs. I am a spiritualist medium. I'm a trance medium. I've done the churches, and I believe in spirit. And spirit do show themselves in funny ways. But for all my 45 years of investigating and researching, and a lot of that researching was on the orb phenomena, and a lot of them, 99.9.8% of them, can be explained. I'm sorry to dash your hopes. And it is science. It's science that does that. A lot of the cameras, even the ones on your phones, now have this glitch in them that produces this orb phenomena, which can show in different varying degrees of light, depending on where you are, where you're standing, where the picture is taken. I wanted to show you a lot of my photos to try and explain a lot of this, but because I work full time and because I had a busy weekend, I haven't been able to prepare for this. But instead, I do have something that I found on the internet yesterday, and I have gone through this website, and I definitely recommend them. And I'm going to try and share my screen and show you this if I can. No, I'm not very good and not very technical, so please bear with me, guys. So so
we could lose the live feed then.
No, you won't lose the live feed. You can just talk amongst yourselves if I disappear. Right, so here we go. I'm going to share a screen. Sharing on, let's see what happens. Okay. So guys, can tell me if you can see this. So I'm going to play about with this. I'm going to make it a bit. I'm going to make it a bit bigger. So this is a website that I have found called paradocfiles.com. And if you've not seen this before, if you're a serious investigator and you love your research, I would say have a look. It's well worth a read. And they explain orbs. Now, I thought, when I saw this, I thought, oh God, here we go. And I spent the afternoon reading this, and they explain orbs. This is part 2, dust and moisture. Now, a lot of people think that orbs are just dust. No, they're not. There can be a whole variance of things when it comes to orbs. So you have the dust orbs, you have vapors that can cause orbs. Then you have different colours. It explains how it's light reflection and how that would work. So if it says here, dust orbs tend to reflect the colour of the light in the area. So if your main light is slightly blue, they will reflect that, and it may come out more orange and red if you're using interior lights. And they explain everything. They go into great detail. I love this that they've done. I don't know who these people are, but a big shout out to them, because I think this is what is needed. People need to be made aware and not sort of had the wool pulled over their eyes. Yeah. Snow particles. Now look at these, like snow particles. They're absolutely beautiful. How to avoid orbs. It gives you all that information there. But here it goes into great details. Like, now here's a dust particle in somebody's house. personally, for me, when looking in that room, that is a paranormal investigator's nightmare. Why? Look at the furniture, the cushions scattered all over the place. Somebody sat on that. Orbs. It's a cloth settee. You have carpet. Carpet fibers can create this phenomena. If the woman now hoovered the floor because she's got a carpet on the floor, that will create this sort of thing. And even if you look into the door right at the very end, you see like the light coming through that, and it's obscured stuff. Can you see that? That will cause phenomena in that picture there. I'll go on to the next picture that they've shown here. Again, this is moisture particles. You can see some pretty colours there. And if you zoom into some of them, I won't be able to do it very well here. No. You can even see the pareidolia effect, where people are seeing faces in orbs. It is pareidolia. There are beautiful patterns in some of them. If you look at them, this one I zoomed into when I was at work, and I thought, that's pretty. Looks like a snowflake, you know.
But that's the thing. It is exactly with orbs. It is the same as a snowflake. There's no identical snowflake. They're all different patterns. And when you zoom in on a microscope, yes, it just looks like a blob of snow when it's falling out of the sky. But when you look at it under a microscope, you can see the individual crystals that make up the flake.
Exactly.
And it's the same with orbs.
And you see this one, that is vapour, like a fog or a mist that you get in some of the fields, woods, all that sort of thing. You'll get the orb phenomena within that. People, and you won't get a lot. You might get the odd one or two. Here's a beautiful one. It looks like something out of a fairy tale, doesn't it? It looks like it's just beginning to snow or rain or something with the sun shining. And look at that phenomena. And if they're clumping, you know, if it rains in a certain area but not in others. Hey, look at this one. This one's got 2 dots in the middle. Looks like 2 eyes and a nose. Again, this is just moisture and dust particles. But we have bugs. This is my favourite.
Skyfish, I think they were called.
Yeah, nobody mentions the bugs. Now look at this one. This one I find very fascinating, because if you look at that, somebody that doesn't know and is new to the field will say, oh, look, that's a fairy. No, that's a moth. That is a moth, I'm afraid. But if you want to believe that's a fairy, then go ahead, believe that that's a fairy. Yeah. And again, on videos, here we go. I think this is a video itself, so you'd have to watch the video on there. I'm not going to play that now on here because there is a lot. There's rods. Here we go. The rod phenomena. Yep. Again, that's a bug. That's a bug. Here's another one. When the camera exposure. And bugs creating this sort of thing. It's you know, if people want to say, oh, you know, this is spirit, go ahead and believe that. If that makes you feel good, go ahead and believe that. I will not take that away from you. I mean, if you look at this is a moth. Absolutely beautiful. It reminds me of a millipede, to be honest. But
and that was probably taken.
Looks like a millipede.
Yeah, that one was probably taken with an early digital camera. And as the digital cameras got more advanced, the shutter speeds got a lot quicker, and the take of the picture was faster. And so it went from, say, 50 wing beats on the original picture would go down to maybe the single wing beat or like a double wing beat.
So like this one, this one is a bat. Now, I took a photograph of a bat in flight, and it came out with something very similar to this. And I knew I took a picture of the bat, as actually filmed it and took photographs at the same time. I was quite lucky. And I was actually quite proud that I managed to capture the bat. But it looked very similar to this, with this long line that went along there. I know it's not an orb. But again, there's another one. There's a fairy there. If you didn't know any better, that's definitely a moth. Again, it's emitting its own light. See what's in the background there? There's a light source coming from whoever's taking the camera from behind them, because you can see the reflection against I don't know what that is, a unit or something. But yeah, again, it comes down to research. Look at that one. That's a little fairy, but it's not fairies. Again, it's a bug. But how beautiful are they, you know? And this is a great one. Love that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and again there. So it's all sort of comes under the umbrella of orbs. I also noticed that they did some other stuff here. Hair and strings. He wants me to buy him a cup of coffee. Go away. All right, so hair and strings, camera straps, all of this. I mean, people really do, and even floating cobwebs. I went out of my front door this morning at 6:45, whatever time it was, and I walked straight through a cobweb. You know, it's like, thanks. But, you know, again, people tend to sort of want to play these off as vortexes. I'm sorry. Really?
Yeah, majority of the time there is a natural explanation for it.
Yeah. But the trouble is, people see, this is a nice one, somebody's hair there, and you get a few dust particles out there as well, taken outside somewhere. People are too wanting to believe that everything is spirit. No, it is not. No, it's lazy. It's lazy investigating. That's another one. I noticed that in fog conditions, you will get this like an effect with lines. Honestly, when it gets foggy later this year, go out with your camera and go and snap a load of photographs. The fog is amazing. What you see in those photographs after it blows your socks off. It's like, how can fog do that? But they're fog pictures. So these just give really good examples of.
That's a fascinating site, that. I like that.
Honestly, I found this site by accident, but it's a really good site. They have urban myths. They even talk about camera problems on here. You know, we always say get to know your equipment, but how many people really know their equipment?
Yeah.
You know, shutter speeds, that sort of thing, what settings you should have, what you should do if you get these issues or problems. But I will put this this website in the chat. But it's I don't even know if this team is still going, but this website is absolutely amazing, and it explains everything. Whoever put this website together,
yeah,
I love it. I love it. And there is a team there. You know, if they're around, I'd love to get them on a show, but stupid paranormal. Love it. But that is my take on things, is people do not investigate the phenomena itself. So practice at home, jump up and down on your bed, take your photographs.
Yeah, dust everywhere. Yeah.
Hoover the floor. Take some photographs. You'll be covered
just opening and closing your front door is enough to allow air circulation to shift dust about your room.
Yeah, no, definitely. So I'm just writing this in before I take this down.
But the thing is it's asking questions, isn't it? You look at what you've taken a photo of, and you look into it, and there's too many people. It's too easy for people just to jump on the bandwagon and go, that's the spirit. That's the first manifestation of the ghost days.
No,
but when you look at it, you can
is to try and communicate, whether it be telepathically, whether you physically hear them, feel them.
Yeah.
That is the first manifestation of a spirit. They will try and make some communication, unless they're not interactive. It's a replay, or it's because there are varying forms of spirit. That's another thing people don't you got me going on one now. They don't investigate the varying forms of hauntings. What are they? Ascertain that. Do your research. Do your research on the building. Just say, well, going in cold. Sorry, I'm going to swear. Bollocks. You need to know where you need to be concentrating.
Yeah.
Is it a replay? Is it something else? Is it something that's going to communicate with you? Because if it is, you want to be in the right place to have that communication with them and hopefully capture it. You don't want to be sitting in a room 10 rooms along and miss the whole thing because your feelings were telling you, I need to go over here. No, get where you should be, you know.
Yeah.
Unless, like, you know, you're like Brian or myself who can pick up on things. Honestly, do your research, because that will pay off. It really does pay off, and it puts you in the right place at the right time, and hopefully you get what you've came for.
Yeah, I mean, I know a few urbexers that just go into locations and they just snap happy. You know, they go in there and they'll take 100 photos all over the location, and then they'll say they'll come to me and go, look at these pictures. I've got 15 pictures that I've just taken at random out of 100, and there's something come up on there. And I went, yes, but you're walking around an abandoned building. There's loft insulation hanging out the ceiling and the walls. The windows have been broken, so you've got an air current. There's dust and dirt all over the floor, and you're walking around taking photos.
Right.
The comment between you, Wayne, and Viv, that's the point, is what stage are you at as an investigator? Do you have senses? Do you have ability? If you don't, you have to do all of the above.
Yeah.
To stand any chance whatsoever. But it is different for such as me and Viv, because, and you, Wayne, as well. When you've got an ability, you take it for granted, and you do know where to go. You know how long to stay and things like that, and you know whether you're welcome or not. You've got all the spidey senses. But for anybody that hasn't, all of the above.
Yeah.
Mary says, but some just don't want to hear it. That's true, because honestly, Mary, I think some people that, you know, that they hold on to this orb thing, you will find 9 times out of 10, they're wanting communication with a loved one that's passed into spirit. They go into these investigations hoping that medium will pick up on that, and they forget. Then the ghost hunt is gone out of the window. It's all about that spirit communication, giving this message to, you know, really it's not the time and a place. I mean, I have a little gripe about that. If I'm going on a ghost hunt, I want a ghost hunt. I don't want to be spending my time giving messages to someone. It's like, come on, let's do that privately somewhere else. You know, there's my number, ring me.
Especially if it's a public event as well, because you've got other people that are being put out of place.
Dan says, I've only ever seen one that threw me and I had no answer. It was generating its own energy that replicated a Tesla ball and followed a path that a spirit regularly took. I've seen a full apparition of a man, but I saw it with the naked eye, and even pointed out to a fellow investigator. To this day, I have no answer, but it definitely showed intelligence. Mostly, though, they are just environmental anomalies. And she said, Mary says, exactly. Who is Ola? Oh, it's Emma.
Emma,
it's all your dad's fault. Blame him. I'm getting your parcel in the post.
The one we saw was in daylight and not on camera. It was in daylight and a perfectly illuminated sphere that I saw. But Emma saw it as a fairy. Now, I believe that people can see things as differently. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I saw it as an orb. Emma saw it as a little fairy floating through the air.
But it's very similar to Pareidalia, because there was the incident with, is it Althorpe House, where Princess Diana's buried?
Yeah, that's near me. Yeah, just up the road. She's not actually buried there, though. That's the story.
There's the little island. There's the little island where the claim is she was buried there. And I took a group of people down there once when I was working on the coaches, and people kept saying they could see Princess Diana's face in the trees on the island in the middle of a lake, and I couldn't see it. And someone took the photo and went, look, and they put a ring around it so you could see exactly where they were looking at. And it took me ages to actually spot it. But loads of people have all said the same thing. Oh, Princess Diana's face is on now. And I'm like, it's just where the leaves are formed.
Yeah.
And it's just coincidental that it's formed somebody's face.
Yeah.
William says, in alchemy, you're taught properly to understand your environment and nature and material substance like metals, herbs, plants, soil and sand. Everything has vibration and it moves. And you know what? What William is explaining there in alchemy is what we should be adapting as normal, everyday common sense. Talk to, you know, understand your environment. Where are you? What are you in? Material. What can I prove or disprove? Every ghost hunt I go to, I try go in there to prove that it's not haunted, not that it is haunted. I do it the opposite way than most ghost hunters. If they then turn around and something comes and slaps you or kicks you in the arse that you can't refute, fair enough.
Yeah.
You know?
Try and debunk it. Try and debunk it.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's proving that it's not rather than jumping to it is.
It's taking the scientific approach to everything. You're looking for answers. So therefore, you have to do a process of elimination. Look at what it's not first. And then say, right, well, it can't be this, it can't be that. It could be this, but it could be that. And then once you've ruled out all the scientific explanations, then you can start looking at the possibility of it being spiritual. But until you've done that process of elimination, it's all guesswork.
Yeah, and Brian will tell you, you'll get led to where you need to go. Or your guides will be saying, go in here, Brian. Take your camera and snap about 10 pictures. I guarantee you get something in one of them. And lo and behold, you'll get it, you know. But then me and Bri can cheat like that.
There is a theory, Tim, with what you mentioned about them seeing a fairy and you knew. There is a theory that you lose your innocence the older you get.
I know that,
Where the
but
fairy comes from.
It wasn't pareidolia because this thing floated across.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It was self-illuminating. And I know, I've been doing this a long time. But Emma, she said at the same time, we saw the same thing together, and she said a fairy. She saw a fairy and I saw an orb.
Yeah.
With the colours, self-illuminating, tennis ball size, floating through. It wasn't pareidolia, it was going across the forest. Yeah.
Exactly.
So it's unexplained. I'm not saying it was.
You got to leave it as question mark.
Yes, question mark. But something strange.
Yes.
Something strange. Yeah.
Hello, Andy. Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah, because it was a popular train of thought that children are more open-minded, and as you get into adulthood, the outside interferences of education and news outlets and everything else interferes with that open-mindedness. So you tend to shut off from that, like you say, it's that innocence.
Wayne, tell me when to stop.
Stop.
Oh, God. Right, Bri, pick a number. 1, 2, 3.
Are you doing 4. One of those thingy paper things?
This is what the guys next week are going to be discussing.
Oh.
Enchiladas.
Oh, expeditions. Sorry, I ain't got my glasses on.
Enchilada expeditions. We don't know what type of expeditions, but they're expeditions nonetheless. Expeditions
that sounds interesting.
Into the unknown.
Have a good one.
Who's on next week? Next week on Tuesday will be Eric, Ian, Mark, Dan, and Parker. If he can be bothered to turn up. Because we all know what Parker's like.
Yeah, it's supposed to be my group and he's not.
Yeah, I know. Did you see that? Did you see that in the intro?
Yeah.
You can adopt him if you want, Bri, because we don't want him.
Well, he can whatever he wants, can't he?
Oh, hang on. We got some stuff come up in the chat. Hang on.
No. No, I can't read it. I ain't got my glasses on.
The problem with everyone with a camera and a K2 is an expert, and you're
damn right, Dan.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was a very 100% sure.
Yeah. This is my daughter I was with at the time.
Yeah. Dan says not bloody Parker. Great chat tonight as always. Thanks, Nicola. You can come back again. We love you.
Yeah, we'll have to see Nicola.
Parker. Why? But you know, when it comes to orbs, guys, seriously, it's got to be your own thoughts, your own research, your own preference. And you know what? If you believe in them, and it gives you that faith in here, it gives you something to hold on to, something to believe in, then I don't think it's a bad thing.
No, you're damn right.
But me personally, I'm a spiritualist medium. I talk to spirit. Spirit come and do strange things. Well, they don't do. Well, they have done. They do strange things sometimes, and sometimes they do strange things to me. And I know that if they wanted your attention, it wouldn't be by that. They'd do something.
They wouldn't do it that way.
More drastic than that. You know, whether you like it or not, or notice it, or don't notice it, or hear it, or feel it, or smell it, or whatever, it's something bigger than that. But that's just my opinion. And as William Southey, Mr. Southey, has said, that everything moves. Know your environment, know your vibrations, and then you'll get it, if that makes sense.
I think also a lot of the problem was, and I'm going to name names, the shows like Most Haunted, they were the ones that penned the term, the first manifestation of a ghost. And thousands of people jumped on that misinformation and went, it's an orb. No, it's not.
You swore on here by saying that MH word.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. I'll take it back. I'll write my 100 lines out tonight. I'll bring them in tomorrow, miss.
What's Bri doing?
Nothing.
He's got that look on his face like he's up to mischief. Go on, Bri, come on.
There's so much conjecture into really. And I the first manifestation. Well, sometimes it's the last. It can happen at any time, can't it? Really, but as I say, personally, there's a lot of things I can explain, just like you guys have said. But there is sometimes I can't, and I do find that spirit seem to be relaxed in that form. Shall we put it that way? They never really, I don't know if you've noticed this, again, it's only an observation, but when there's nasty poltergeist activity, you don't get orbs. Or I've not noticed it.
So, I think that's because they want to do something to scare you. They're not going to let them know they're going to do it first by waving a banner and going, hey, I'm going to scare you in a second. They're just going to do what they're going to do to scare you. Exactly. They're not going to give you advance warning. So by showing themselves as an orb, you can prepare yourself for what could happen.
Or in Dan's case, it's squeaky bum time.
But in that statement there, Wayne, you've just more or less accepted that orbs are paranormal, you know what I'm saying? To some extent. Because it just seems an observation from my point of view that they're not around when there's activity of that nature. It's always in a pleasant way, and I get a hell of a lot in churches, and I've only known that.
Yeah, but have you noticed how dusty the churches are sometimes, though?
They can be, but there's a place that I do frequent. You need to go with as well. It's absolutely.
Oh, let's have a meet up. Let's have a meet up.
It's St Mary's Led, church led. It's a 24/7 church, open 24/7, and that is very hit and miss, just like a lot of places. Sometimes it's idyllic, and other times it's all going off. It's all kicking off. I've got so much evidence from that
Dan
place.
loves a squeaky bum.
It's very similar to the church at Dunwich on the Suffolk coast. You know, it's open all the time. In a sense, it's a fairly newish church in terms of churches. But Dunwich itself is only one street. But at the end of one end of the street, you've got open fields and woodland, and at the other end of the street, you've got the car park and the beach.
Nice.
So you've got a lot of sand, you've got a lot of sea spray. You go down there, you take pictures, you guarantee you're going to get those lovely little orbs that are going to appear. You go into the church graveyard, you'll get the same thing again, because the sea spray gets brought in off the North Sea and it sweeps right the way across.
That's
so,
nice.
You know, you get them all the time. But when you get that with substantial evidence like child's footprints on the road leading up to where you're standing, then you could explain why you've got a orb that shouldn't really be there, considering you've got some wet footprints that stop right behind you. And we actually got that on camera, these wet footprints, and it scared the living daylights out of us. We were wondering what the hell was going on. But we had seen this orb, and unfortunately we didn't get it all on camera. So all we could do was take a picture of these footprints.
Yeah.
And they were literally like
I want to lay down a dare for the guys, well, in the chat if you want to, and let us know how you get on. But definitely these three co-hosts of mine. Next time you go into McDonald's and you order a Coke, I dare you to say, "Can I have a dribbly Coke, please?" It's just a dare. I don't want to see who does that.
Can you guarantee they won't call the police on us?
No, just ask to say, "Can I have either one dribbly Coke or two dribbly Cokes?" But you got to ask for a
dribbly Coke.
Coke, yeah. Just see what they do. It's just a bit of fun, just to make them laugh. But you've got to do it with a straight face.
Yeah, unfortunately,
I can do that.
Does the drive-through work?
Yeah, that would work. Yeah, dribbly Coke, yeah.
Is this the reason why McDonald's global sales are down?
We want to know. We want to hear your reactions. Message us. Talk to us in the chat. Let us know how you get on asking for a dribbly Coke to see if they smile or look at you weirdly. But it's just to spread smiles and... what the floof is a dribbly Coke? It's a Coke. It's a Coke. It's just dribbly Coke. It's just a bit of fun. Right. Sorry, Bri.
I'll film Nettie doing it. I'm there.
Yeah, do it.
You got film it. It's got to be filmed, isn't it?
You got to do
I'm going to do it tomorrow.
If you can film yourself doing it, brilliant. But if not, just do it and just let us know the reaction of the person that's serving you. It's just going to be great.
I don't use McDonald's anymore. I go to Burger King.
Go McDonald's and just ask. It's got to be McDonald's, and you've got to ask for a dribbly Coke.
Well, maybe you could do it in a Burger King. Can you do it in a Burger King too?
Yeah, I wonder if they'll do it.
Yeah, do it. Do it. See what happens.
Does it work on Deliveroo as well?
We don't do Coke, we do Pepsi. They'll say we don't do Coke, we do Pepsi.
You got to have a dribbly Pepsi then.
A dribbly Pepsi. Okay, I'll have a dribbly Pepsi then.
Yeah. If you don't do it, it's an insult. Brew. Oh, yeah.
Oh dear. Oh
dear
me.
Well, we're coming to the end of the show, but before we go, I just want to let you know what's going on the rest of the week. I'm going to take you through the week quickly. So tomorrow night on the Spooky Show, the guest is Jonathan Downes. And we're continuing with some story of some cryptid sightings and some first-hand sightings that Jonathan had. So it's going to be a manic show. It's going to be brilliant. We love Jonathan and we love having him on. And
we love Jonathan.
Yeah, so we've got Jonathan Downes tomorrow. And then Thursday, you've got the Weird Room, Tim.
Yes. And we're talking about the Green Man this week.
That's going to be good.
Yeah.
That's
we need part 1, part 2, part 3 because it's well, it's been going on for forever, hasn't it? The Green Man. It's it's a subject that everybody knows about the Green Man. I should think in the world.
What if he's not green all the time? What if he turns brown or yellow with the seasons?
Well, he may do. He may do in the autumn.
Yeah. And then on Friday we have Bri with the was it Freaky Friday?
Yep.
What's happening on Freaky Friday?
I don't know yet.
It's a surprise.
It is a surprise, but as soon as we know, I will post it.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, whatever happens on Friday, it's a bloody good show. So if you can tune in on Friday, please do, and share it out, share it to the world, because I think they deserve it. It's a bloody good show, Freaky Friday is. I must admit, I do enjoy that one. And on Saturdays, which is the 1st and 3rd Saturday of the month, so not this week, but next week, William Becker will be on with Metaphysical Insights. That's another good show. If you get a chance to look at those, please do. And on Sunday, Nettie is back. She's coming back. What's the name of the show? Is it Shadows and Lights?
Yeah.
So Shadows and Lights is back at 7 o'clock, doing what Nettie does best. So she got mediumship going on. What happens, Bri?
She does as she's told.
I think I'm going to have a word with Nettie.
This week is a bit awkward because I go in tomorrow for my 2nd injection in my eye. So
right.
Oh my God.
Yeah, exactly. It's not nice at all, Tim.
No, I bet. Bloody hell.
Exactly. So
I had one in my testicle once. That was bad enough.
So much info.
But
I learned a little fact about eyes the other day I was quite shocked about. Yeah. If the human body discovered the eyes existed, the antibodies would attack the eyes.
Yeah, I saw that where you discussed that the other day, yeah.
And I'm like, no, get away. And when I actually looked at it does. It's things like the lens in your eye. The brain and the white blood cells and the antibodies do not recognize the lens. And if it was to recognize it, it would see it as a foreign body and attack it.
Yeah.
And you would go blind.
Maybe what's happening?
And on Monday, let's get to Monday. Next Monday, we have the Dark Mirror Boys. We have Wayne. We have Mark. And we have Josh. All talking about weird shit.
Yes, weird shit and aliens, conspiracy theories.
Yes.
Cool.
It's another good show. So please tune into them because they are good shows. And I must give Spookanori a bit of a shout out, Wayne, because you did a lot of Spookanori this year. So that's going from strength to strength as well. So keep up reading those stories. And even if it's just a 5-minute, hello, do it. It's worth it.
And there is my new project as well, Wayne's Weird and Wonderful World, which hopefully by the end of August will be starting as well.
Cool.
So
lots coming. If you miss any of the shows, we are on YouTube. You can scroll through the page feed, whatever platform you're looking from. We never delete any shows. You can see them all on there, and you can also watch them on catch up. So I'm going to leave you all now, and I'm going to play our intro just in case you missed it. But we're all going to bid you good night. Before we do, Dan's just put up a message here. There you go. We're all upside down.
You're dead right.
I can't read it.
It's like a camera lens. Like a camera lens does that as well.
Yeah.
Yes, binoculars.
Right. Take care, everyone, and we will speak to you on the flip side.
Manana.
Right, let's just do this